Hi there, it's Sarah of Get Weaving. This is a follow on from the previous video that I did. It's taken a little longer than I expected to because I'm trying to get two different versions. It's called my DIY dress. In other words, it's without a pattern at the moment. It's just rectangles and squares. And last time I showed you the mock-up that I'd made. And then I decided that I could put a short tabard and a knee-length pinafore dress on the same pattern. So I decided I'd make the pinafore dress first. I've used remnants left over from other projects. So I had quite a big piece left over from this one. I think I must have intended to make something else. So I had a long strip left over, and that has made the front and the back sections. Although, as you can see, the back is sort of pieced together, but I'm quite happy with that. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. The sides are then made from a jacket, which was this pattern. It's a 4-shaft weave, though this time it was rose path. So I used that for the sides, and these, which I call the waist tabs. The pockets were again from the centre section. I've pieced those together again, but that's fine. The straps are from a jacket. So what I'd done was take all the remnants that I had left over from other projects out, put them on the table. I decided I'd do a woolly pinafore dress and a cotton tabard, but I'll be going into that a bit more later on. So as I said in the last video, the pieces are all squares or rectangles, so all the cuts are straight. So there's no scary curves. So if you haven't done this kind of thing before now and you're worried about cutting your fabric, even if all you do is stitch 2 straight lines and then cut in between them, your fabric won't just start falling to pieces. Quite often, like the straps here, and I'll show you this in a minute, I fringe the ends. So there's kind of minimal shaping, if you like, with this one. So that's the piece for the shoulder strap. As you can see, it's just a rectangle. It's half the width of the fabric. So the width of my fabric for this was 16 inches. So that is a half width. So I would have cut down the middle and then sealed one edge. This is the piece for the waist tab, folded in half. So again, this is half a width. The pockets are half a width. So I've tried to make it so that, again, there's very little waist, but it's all straight lines. The first pieces that I stitched were the front and the back, so they're turned over. There's some interfacing underneath here, and then the facing is turned in and stitched, and then I hung the front and the back on my mannequin, which is so useful. And the next bit was to do with the straps, so I could check that they were the right length. So the strap pieces, as I said, are half a width, folded right sides together, stitched, turned through, but the ends were fringed. You could put buttons or decorations or something on the front here as well. Then the next thing was these waist tabs, getting them in the right place. And also I didn't want to have to muck about with openings, so this just goes on over my head. Somebody very kindly said I would try putting elastic in. I did that, but this fabric is quite thick and it just didn't hang very nicely. So thank you for that. I love getting other people's suggestions, but I decided I would make this waist tab thick enough, and it's all interfaced as well. And this is why it's taken me a long time. I tried different widths for the waist tab. So the first one I did was quite narrow with a narrow piece of elastic in, but it just hung really strangely. So that had to come out. The pockets, as I said, I've joined some bits. I don't mind that the patterns don't match. One side of the pocket is stitched into the front seam and the other side of the pocket is fringed. So I'm trying to make things as easy as possible for people who aren't very confident at sewing. The pockets are lined as well. Can't find it at the moment, never mind. It was a fat square, so I've used that for the pocket linings. So the way I made it was front, back. Oh, the sides are turned in as well. Even if you're using your selvages, you might want to turn the sides under just to make it slightly stronger. And because this was cut from remnants, one side had a selvage and the other side didn't. So in the end, I put the interfacing on both and then turned them in. So it was front and back, straps on, fitting the waist tabs. The side pieces are gathered onto the waist tabs, pockets, and then stitching. The front is overlapped, so all flat again, so no funny seams that you have to worry about which way do you press them. So I literally just tucked the side panels underneath the front and the back and then stitched them down. And I wore I wore it last weekend to our guild meeting. Very, very comfortable. I always test my garments out before launching them. Really comfortable all day long and cozy. And the jacket that's made from this fabric, the Rose Pass, I wore over the top. So I had an outfit. Very nice. I was ever so pleased with it. As I said, I was hoping in a way that people might be able to work this out for themselves just using measurements, but I think I'm probably going to end up making a pattern, only because it's more straightforward in a way. So as I said, I want to make a tabard as well, so I've got 2 cotton fabrics for that. So that's left over from a dress. That's left over from my dungarees. Sort of funny strip because of the, yeah, bit of a funny shape. So again, I might have to fiddle that, but I've got quite a big piece left. And I think there's enough for the straps as well, but I'll do that in the next one because it's a lot simpler, but it's cotton and it's cold at the moment, so I wanted to make the dress first. Anyhow, I'll add some pictures in, and the next video will be about making the tabard. Today I've got dress DR 003 on, It's one of my favourites, even though my friend calls it my tablecloth dress. So the warp goes this way on the yoke and this way on the body. So it's very nice at the moment. Season's greetings. Christmas is upon us. So the shop will be shutting for a few days and then reopening again in the new year. Take care. Bye now.